Now, there are several issues to deal with when a person like John Lopez comes out and makes a statement like he did this morning in regard to Ryan Mallett and reverse discrimination. Number one, you're John Lopez making those allegations, and you do not have a history, a relevant history of breaking relevant sports news. You're not viewed in a credible manner in that regard. It just is what it is. But it doesn't mean that John Lopez isn't correct. Said it doesn't mean John Lopez is correct or incorrect just because he doesn't have a relevant history of breaking relevant, accurate sports news. I'm here to tell you that the information that John Lopez shared this morning on his show likely comes from a source, because that information has been out there for some time. You can go back as far as back when Ryan Mallett was a kid being recruited out of Texarkana, to where those allegations first started to surface among scouts, and that some teams were concerned with the fact that, or the perception rather, that Ryan Mallett may be quote unquote too 8-mile-ish, i.e. too black. So John Lopez likely did get that from a source, but it doesn't mean it's correct or accurate or that the Texans are guilty. Okay, so where does that leave us on this? So here's where we are. It's highly probable that John Lopez did get his information from a source saying that basically there's some reverse discrimination going on with Ryan Mallett. That's been out there, like I've said, since he was being recruited out of Texarkana. But it doesn't mean that the Texans are guilty of this. Keep in mind, the Texans organization has a pretty sound history when it comes to minority hiring. Okay, so let's discuss the facts. The Texans have a history of minority hirings, and particularly black minority hirings, in regard to high-level and high-profile publicly viewed positions. Tony Wiley, Media Public Relations. Kevin Cooper, Media Public Relations. Rick Smith, General Manager. It's going to be very difficult to establish a premise or proof of a cultural or history of racism in regard to minority hiring with those. So here lies the greater problem with the whole situation with Ryan Mallett. The media are all cowards when it comes to racism, sexism, gender hiring, all of the above. The media is made up of a group and a culture of cowards, selfishness, no one willing to sacrifice. Now that's the truth. In the media, we all live up under the veil of secrecy. Nobody wants to sacrifice the secrets because no one can give up their sources, because if we give up our sources, we can't get information the next go round. And if we give up too many sources, we become an outsider. We can't be trusted. We lose our credentials. We lose our credibility among our peers. So therefore, we protect our livelihood without giving any regard to the truth. Immediately after I received word of John Lopez's comments this morning on Sports Radio 610, I spoke to a friend, a scout. I spoke to a former Texans player, a friend, and they both reiterated the same thing to me in regard to the Mallett situation with the Texans, that they had heard the exact same thing that Lopez said just recently themselves. But I'm not going to out their names, because I'm the same media coward that I've been talking about on these videos. I'm going to I have to protect my ability to earn in this market. You see, I have to protect my viability to gain and obtain information that I can share in this market. So John Lopez or anyone else in the media, if you want to talk about racism, unless you're willing to name names and be a pioneer and give credible, reliable information in regard to racism, shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear it.